seizing. We've got to get him out of there.
Both his kidneys are fried.
He's in a coma. He has maybe a few days left.
We start chemo. Bombard his head with radiation.
Right, we don't even know if he has one.
Whoa, wait a minute. House wants to irradiate a man's entire head without knowing what's inside. I know he's in diagnostic medicine, but when Wilson hears this plan, he might spit out his kale smoothie. Very excited to be reacting to House MD's Season 7, Episode 14, Recession Proof. On this channel, we are reacting to all 177 House episodes, and this will be episode 146. Let's see if I can get the diagnosis before House does as a doctor working in London.
Oh, I'm sorry. The meeting's running a little late.
I love you too.
You're getting paid to clean, not window shop, Vesky. How much you make an hour anyway?
Not enough.
Sorry I'm late.
I ordered the appetizer special. Oh, I thought taco was a kind of tuna.
To us, on our 3rd anniversary.
Honey, what's wrong?
What do you think it'll look like if you don't show up when I get an award?
I RSVP'd 2 days ago. So tell me how someone can have an allergic reaction when all of their tests were negative for known allergens.
He's not an executive. I saw his hands. He works with them.
Our little girl is finally growing up.
We need to ask you a few questions. Alone, if you don't mind.
Hey, honey, take a break. It's okay.
Bowel movements, mostly color, texture, smell.
Okay.
I can't let my wife find out about this. I lost everything because of the recession. My entire real estate company.
So what do you do for a living now?
Crime scene cleanup, septic tank repair, mold removal.
Where does he go all day to hide out?
His old real estate office?
Check his office for environmentalists.
You're really going to the charity gala?
I want to do something nice for my girlfriend.
100 says you don't show up.
How high did Cuddy authorize you to go?
3.
Why do people believe I'm incapable of doing anything nice?
Oh, I don't know, House. Maybe it's because you poisoned your colleague, tricked your girlfriend's mom into taking sugar pills, and almost let a patient die because you were off trying to pick up the pieces of your aggressive toothbrushing habits. I, on the other hand, will not be distracted because our crime scene sanitizer now needs a health cleanup of his own. They're treating him for a bacterial infection, and he's come into contact with possibly every known pathogen and probably some unknown ones in the course of his work. Septic tank repair, mold removal, and crime scene cleanup. Understandable why he'd hide his fall from grace, but there are a few things more admirable than a person that will do anything to support their family. Within the confines of the law, of course. He won't be able to do any of that though if we don't figure out what's wrong with him. The biggest clue is from his actual reaction to what looks like live octopus tentacles that he ate. Maybe that was a coincidence though, as it didn't just seem like his throat was closing up, he looked stiff. Maybe he came into contact with rabies or tetanus throughout his daily tasks. It'd be unusual to have such a sudden full body reaction though. Oh wait, I have a theory. What if what he actually had was a partial seizure and he has a brain tumor which was caused from toxic exposure? Pesticide exposure, air pollution, and even lead, arsenic, or cadmium exposure could do it. We also know his allergy panel was negative, which makes toxic triggers more likely. All right, I'm going for brain tumors secondary to environmental exposure as my first diagnostic guess. Let's get more clues.
Vicodin. And he doesn't have a prescription.
Take a look at this.
I think he's suffering from boric acid exposure. Never seen a fever spike this fast before.
Acid exposure burns literally. Shouldn't be causing this.
Autopsy report was negative for communicable disease because Vicodin doesn't cause rash, fever, and joint pain.
Maybe we're thinking too far outside the box here.
Taub's life partner has a point.
Meningococcemia?
Confirmed with a lumbar puncture. On the off chance we're wrong, find out what else he's been lying about.
Gram stains are negative in the first CSF samples. You find meaning in meaningless relationships.
At least I have relationships.
I can't feel them. I can't feel my feet.
What is happening to him?
CSF was negative for bacteria.
But high on lymphocytes.
Serum sickness fits. Take him off the antibiotics, start him on corticosteroids.
Are you just letting me win?
You need to lighten up, Bert.
You screwed up your life, not some emotional friend your wife met on the...
Oh, dear God.
He locked himself inside. He went crazy. He hit me. Why can't I get out?
Did House say Taub's life partner has a point? Taub's life partner? You know your lines are good when I've got more attention on that than the blood coming from the forceps. Our patient is clearly now 2 fries short of a Happy Meal, so what could this be? We know he had a seeming reaction to a live tentacle, went so crazy he hit his wife, and had a lumbar puncture with a high lymphocyte count. Usually that means that it could be a virus that has infected his nervous system, but it can also happen if he's developing sarcoidosis, Lyme disease, or even fungal or tuberculous meningitis. How might we then narrow it down? Well, we could do a test called a quantiferon, which basically checks for the white blood cell messenger molecules that are released in reaction to tuberculosis. That is much easier than looking for the TB directly, since it takes a few weeks to grow and needs a special stain to see easily. An MRI head would definitely help as well, as the team haven't mentioned they've done one yet. Surprisingly, I don't think we've ever had a TB diagnosis in-house yet. Is it too common? I say that working in inner city London, which has the highest TB rate of all Western European cities. The general average rate is high, but some areas like where I work in Brent, the rates are so high that they're double that of Iraq. Our patient is not a Londoner, but considering the places he's been to, then an infectious cause is pretty likely. That's why I'm actually going for TB as my first diagnostic guess. Let's get more clues.
He had a psychotic break. I'd say that usually indicates neurological involvement.
Excuse me, I'll be back.
Swollen joints, high white count, fever, conjunctivitis.
Given his job, the skin and eye involvement, it's more likely a systemic fungal infection.
It started him and his wife on triple antifungal therapy.
Oh my God, sweetheart, I'm so sorry.
Whatever you're doing, it's obviously not working.
I need to talk to my wife in private for a moment.
But of course, he would tell a bunch of strangers before he would tell me. I mean, why not? I'm just a stupid housewife, right?
I can't hear anything. Why can't I hear anything?
It's probably neurological.
Brain tumor?
Get an MRI, find it.
Freezing.
It's seizing, we've got to get him out of there. Both his kidneys are fried.
He's in a coma. He has maybe a few days left.
We start chemo. Bombard his head with radiation.
We don't even know if he has one.
If I can't establish relationships in my personal life, how will I ever do it with a patient? He's in a coma. We think it's a brain tumor and we need your permission to start treatment.
Whoa, wait a minute. House wants to irradiate a man's entire head without knowing what's inside. I know he's in diagnostic medicine, but when Wilson hears this plan, he might spit out his kale smoothie. I don't know why he's drinking a kale smoothie. The big issue with irradiating one's entire cranium, though, is that most of us require our brains to live. See, radiotherapy works in a way that it condenses radiation from multiple directions so that it coalesces in a beautiful symphony of cancer destruction right in the center, leaving much of the surrounded areas unharmed since their exposure is much less than that of the cancer. But now we have nothing to aim for. It's pretty much guaranteed that brain tissue will die, but House's justification is that the patient's dying anyway. Usually that tends not to be enough for a dangerous and experimental treatment, but in House's case, it's just another day in Princeton, Plainsboro. The newly estranged wife now has to unestrange herself to make a decision about this and masters to deliver the news with all the social prowess of a tin of Heinz beans. I mean, who knows, maybe we'll see a side of her that we haven't seen before, like a shiny side. We know the patient is now in a coma, gone into kidney failure, is getting more fevers, and had red eyes. In all fairness, this would still fit pretty well with a rat-borne disease called Leptospirosis. It causes kidney failure, fevers, neurological symptoms, red eyes, and eye inflammation. It can cause diarrhea as well, so maybe Foreman and Taub got themselves unwell from their searches because they were also exposed. I mean, that here fits perfectly. Taub has failed in way too many areas recently to add his cooking to the list, so let's go for Leptospirosis as my second diagnostic guess. Antibiotics would get him back up and cleaning crime scenes in no time. To be fair, very noble work. Not sure how people would actually do that.
It could kill him?
It's possible, but there is still hope.
I didn't mean any of those awful things I said. I'm so sorry. I love you, Bird. I also kept a secret from you. I'm pregnant, sweetheart.
Why rash again? It went away. needs a reason to come back.
He said he was cold, but it's always freezing in there.
We made him cold. CAPS, cold-induced autoinflammatory syndrome 1 gene. Treat with rilonacept.
You okay?
Why wouldn't I be? Solve my case.
You don't have to move out if you don't want to. We want to see the board freak when House's mariachi band marches in.
Oh, I'm dead because I'm screwed up. But that mom gave her baby cancer. I figured that one out quicker. She'd still be a mom, alive. Love and happiness are nothing but distractions. My happiness is being paid for in other people's lives.
She's upset that you didn't show up tonight.
I gotta tell her the truth, Wilson.
You're drunk, and you screwed up big time.
Being happy and being in love with you makes me a crappy doctor.
You're too drunk to end this relationship.
I choose you. I will always choose you.
Oh, I fully thought he was going for the relationship self-destruct button, but what a burden to now put on Cuddy's shoulders. Maybe he can tolerate all those lives lost, but can she? Regardless, I wouldn't have been able to save this patient either, since I've never even heard of cryopyrin-associated autoinflammatory syndromes. It stands for CAPS and is definitely beyond the cap of my knowledge. Such a dad joke. This ep was passable. I'd say 7 out of 10 entertainment, 7.5 out of 10 accuracy, and 7.6 out of 10 diagnosis. This episode makes way more sense when you watch the previous one, where House gets his best relationship advice from an unconventional source.